Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a live stream, so nobody's watching right out of the gate. But today, we're gonna cover a few different topics. It's Saturday, May 17th on the Populist Block. We're gonna talk about Trump's new pharmaceutical bill, cutting costs, hopefully for Americans, and digging into the pockets a bit of big pharma. We want to talk about the free plane Trump got. This maybe it's all Trump show. Maybe the Coinbase debacle. We're seeing the hack. And dang it, Animal, which one did you tell me was the last one?
The American.
The immigrant.
The immigration TV show.
The immigrant show.
Into the Populist Block. Let's try this. I'm going to see if I can do this. If I can do this smoothly. I got to get rid of some stuff. All right.
Paganism, modern day paganism. If all your Christianity is about God, give me car, give me wife, give me children, give me this, give me that, kill my enemy, kill my enemy, kill my enemy, give me, kill my enemy, give me. Anyone that doesn't want me to succeed, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire. Give me this, give me that, kill my enemy, give me that, give me this, give me die by fire, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire. If that is all your Christianity, you are a pagan rebranded as a Christian. You and the children of Baal are in the same WhatsApp group. I can give you a scripture. I don't talk carelessly, right? Give me this, give me that. Kill my enemy. Give me that. Give me this, give me that. Kill my enemy. Give me that. Give me this.
How about that, man?
Like that intro?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So you made that in Blender, right? Oh, this is not what we want. You made that in Blender, correct?
Yeah, I played with Blender a little bit this last week, 2 weeks actually. Put that together. Still working on it. I think it's pretty cool. It's certainly unfinished, so expect some refinements.
It's a little cooler than the Moon Man one.
Yeah.
It's got this cross. It's like a Blade Runner type of thing, or Running Man from the 80s. Did you ever see that movie, The Running Man?
Is that with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Dude.
Richard Dawson from Family Feud. We used to watch in college. We'd watch old Family Feuds, and Richard Dawson was like kind of this. He kissed all the women and stuff. He was a little pervy, and I think he was drunk all the time. But he was funny.
Sounds about right for the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think he was 70s, 80s. Well, all right. So yeah, like I said, we're going to get into a few different things today. I think the biggest news that, again, you get optimistic in politics, so I always have to have a grain of salt. I do think this challenging this most favored nations order that Trump has put forward with the pharmaceutical companies is hopefully, again, sometimes he does a great job of just shining a light on a really big problem. Hopefully should be very well received by the general public and actually has an impact. I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the actual order, which might get a little long-winded, but
we're trying to look at the bright side of things with this administration on the show, I guess. We're trying to look at the silver lining and the things that are also have a populist theme to them, which I think that, equalization of payment, not equalization, but yeah, most favored nation payment structure that the rest of the countries of the world have with the farm industry. Canada inclusive, we don't pay $1,000 a month for insulin over here, or whatever it is.
The argument, obviously there's detractors. You've got the pharmaceutical industry is like, well, that's going to cut into all of our research and all these new medicines that we've come out with that are saving millions of lives. And if you stop this research, you're going to kill millions of people, basically, right? Which feels like a bit of a threat, a bit of an abusive relationship. If someone's like, what, everyone's going to die if you don't pay me your money.
If that's truly the case, you know what? They should increase the prices globally, right? Make it. Wouldn't that make more sense? Why? Yeah.
Well,
why is it only the Americans that carry that burden?
Well, in a lot of Europe and a lot of like Canada and Australia, you guys have nationalized healthcare, so you only are willing to pay X amount. You negotiate actually fair drug prices
as a country. Yeah. So we have like this huge
as a
client
country.
base. Yeah. Huge
It's
client
so
base
screwed
that-
up, dude. I got into this rabbit hole a little bit. There was an episode. So Jimmy Dore did an interview with this lady, Cheryl Atkinson, and I would recommend to go see it on YouTube. I'll see if we can find a link or something. But she did a report back in like 2006. It's kind of come up, reemerged as we'll call it, like lost footage, right? This was a spot like on CBS Sunday News, and she was talking about the flu vaccine, and she was saying, you know, we've had the flu vaccine for 15, 20 years now. Doses have increased every year, you know, so uptake is much higher than it's ever been. So you would expect there to be a decrease in flu deaths. And no, actually had increased during the time that we've added vaccines. And so it was like the total polar opposite of what you would expect. And they didn't really have a reason or an explanation, but it was still like insisting, well, we're looking into it, but still make sure you get your vaccines. And so she's kind of, from that, it got her rolling into being, you know, she's been doing this now for 15, 20 years, investigative journalism into the pharmaceutical industry. And so I started listening to her podcast, and like the crazy, you know, upside down world of the marriage between pharmaceutical companies and the federal government regulators, where they, the pharmaceutical companies, you know, they write the rules and they have people legally allowed to be working for the FDA or the NIH or whatever, to essentially write the laws and line their pockets. It's a really wild.
Yeah, that revolving door that they talk about, right? Where like if you work in big pharma, once you're ready to retire, they'll give you priority at the NIH as a lobbyist or whatever.
Right. So,
it's like a club, right? Once you're in there, it's like, you know, you work either in the private sector or the government, and then you go from one to the other.
Yeah, and that's the hard part for, I think, people who aren't aware of the game, right? They don't understand that not only that, the media is literally bought and paid for by pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And so the information you get is not, it has gone through a lot of filters. Let's put it that way, right?
Well, you were saying, right? Like, would the media survive without their sponsorships from Pfizer, right? Like, would CNN?
That's a good question.
Be able to keep the doors open, right? If they stopped getting money from Pfizer and all the other pharma, like Eli Lilly and whatnot.
Let's see what Gemini says. By the way, we're going to sidebar into Gemini real quick. I haven't really been using it, and it is amazing. Like, I couldn't believe the information you can pull up, and then you can ask it to do really complex tasks, and it works tirelessly. You know what I mean? It does. That's the thing about AI. It's like you're asking, like I was asking about median. I'm trying to dig into the median income, and like, is the CPI really the CPI? I was telling you this, and I was like, can you just give me the median income household, the average income, and then like what's the other one? The mean, median, and there's another.
Do I look like Gemini, bro?
Huh?
I'm not Gemini. Don't ask me that.
Well, you know, they just mean and median. That's all I was doing. And then like household wealth, individual wealth, average is the mean. Yeah. And so, but just to get like a real picture of what's going on, because sometimes these statistics get used to, you know, they distort a picture. If you say the median income means that's the 1 to 50th percentile, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean the average, because that might drag, the bottom half might drag down that top half. But all right, anyway, I'm digressing. So let me pull up real quick the actual executive order. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see. Just kind of run the show here. All right, we're going to try this, see if this works. So do you know, I guess, what the most favored nations, right? That's the policy here. Direct to consumer sales to American patients at the most favored nation price. To the extent consistent with law, I always don't like that preface, but okay, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall facilitate direct-to-consumer purchasing programs for pharmaceutical manufacturers that sell their products to American patients at the most favored nation price. That favored nation price is within 30 days. Communicate targets for pharmaceutical prices to bring our prices for American patients in line with comparably developed nations. So I'm guessing they mean, Europe and Canada. No one compared to America reality. Oh, Chief, you're not supposed to be up here. What the heck's going on? Boom.
So prior to this act, there was no category for most favored nations, right? Now this is creating a most favored nations category for the FDA, or not for the FDA, but I guess for pharma companies.
So you think this is a new term that didn't exist before?
It existed elsewhere when it came to trade, right?
Okay.
When it came to international trade, was this the free trade something favored nation? I forget what it was called, but like Larry Summers and Clinton established this new act where, in the late 90s, China was made a member of the most favored nations, which made it. But prior to that, China had to like every year apply and be approved to be most favored nation when it came to tariff rates. But Larry Summers and Clinton made it so that they were in there permanently, which enabled corporations then to forecast long-term, profits based on their investments. So they can, at that point, they were creating factories down there and moving more of their manufacturing to China because of that trade stability. So it's a term that I don't think was applied to pharma up until this point. I guess Grok can fact check us, or Gemini rather, I should say.
Right.
But yeah, because in my mind, it implies if it wasn't already established, if safe it was established, there were some countries that were MFN nations. And then what would the states have been? Like at least favorable,
like MFN, motherfucking
most favorable nations.
Yeah.
And then prior to this, with these higher rates, it would have been a least favorable nation. So I think that's why it's got to have been. It's a new term that they're throwing around, a new structure.
Well, it's interesting because this is just like an order here, right? The secretary shall propose a rulemaking plan to impose the pricing. It also talks a little bit about importing drugs from other countries. I think to help enable more importation for cheaper drugs if we can get them elsewhere. There's been a lot of artificial barriers put up. And this is kind of funny because, the whole free trade thing, we talk about tariffs. That's a restriction of trade. And this feels like we've had restrictions of trade that are now being lifted. So it's just it's not like a consistent theme with Trump, which is interesting. And I guess when you think about it, maybe that's a good thing, but we're not just having a blanket ethos, trying to pick and choose what he likes. I tend to think he's really a populist. He's going to do the things that he thinks will ingratiate him with the most people.
That'd be
even
popular,
if it's not logically consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you just look at the Bitcoin stuff, right? He was at the Bitcoin conference last year and he was talking, he was buttering up the Bitcoiners saying like, yeah, you know what? Like, why not have a strategic reserve? But at the same time, come his inauguration date leading up to that, he released a bunch of tokens on Solana, which is something that didn't please the maxis at all. In fact, I don't think it pleased many people except for Solana, holders, right? And really hardcore MAGA fans.
So just before you get on, because I do want to move on. We'll move on to you want to talk about why do I keep the game show? I want to talk about that next. But I want to show you just some of what I would call, this is pharma voice. You can't get a much more biased opinion than what they're putting out there.
Yeah, who
and actually,
pays
it'd be
their
interesting
bills?
to take this and see if any of it's been copy pasted into a mainstream news article. I'm going to find that. I'm going to see. So he's bringing back this controversial idea of most favored nations, which would bring U.S. prices in line with the nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world, 30 to 80% almost immediately. However, there are still ways to go before the policy would take effect. And looking back at why the approach failed in Trump's first term provides insight into challenges ahead. Through the executive order, its move met with some criticism by Congress as well as the pharma industry. What a surprise. Wait a minute. The Industry Association, Pharma, which is probably one of these, just a lobbying group, just keep that in mind, used the executive order as an opportunity to slam pharmacy benefit managers, which these are the people, PBMs, Mark Cuban was kind of railing at, as opposed to the pharmaceutical companies. These are the people that negotiate the benefits and the costs for these large programs like Medicare, Medicaid. They are the culprits of the high drug prices. And the U.S. is the only country in the world that lets PBMs, again, pharmacy benefit managers, insurers, and hospitals take 50 cents of every dollar spent on medicines. The amount going to middlemen often exceeds the price in Europe. That's interesting.
That's wild.
Now, again, these are a lobbying group. Also, I was going to call it pharmaceutical lobbying group, also called the plan a bad deal that would threaten jobs, hurt the economy, and place more reliance on China for America's medicines. Bio, which is another probably lobbying group, similarly criticized the policy, calling it deeply flawed and arguing it would devastate the biotech industry. I tend to think what we might end up seeing is that even if this passes, pharmaceutical companies will find a way to repackage what they've been selling, rebrand it, do it in a liquid form, or do it in a shot or something that bypasses and saying, look, these aren't the same thing. You're selling a 10 milligram pill in Europe, and this is a 15 milligram pill. So they're different. And therefore I don't have to adhere to the standard. I think that kind of gamesmanship could go on, right? But this is interesting.
Right. It's like what they did with the EpiPen, right? It's like just, what is it that's in there? It's a norepinephrine. And that in itself, if you buy that drug, what is it, like $5 for a vial? But they sell the EpiPen with less of it than you would get in a vial, and it's like $800. Right. Same ingredients. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not surprising, dude. So the executive order claimed the U.S. funds 3/4 of global pharma profits. I did read that. I would want to check that source, but I read the same thing, that we're like 4.8% of the population. We're responsible for 74% of their revenue or something like that. It's just so mind blowing. And essentially everybody was freeloading off the U.S. citizen. RFKs or to enable direct-to-consumer sales at the most favored nation price. They would create a mechanism to facilitate the sales directly from the manufacturer and bypass the middleman. So maybe this is what they want. I mean, it sounds like it, right? Let's see. This is if they don't comply and offer the new prices, HHS would impose the most favored nation pricing outright, which I'm not sure how they could do that. Force them to comply. He would target pharma companies that failed to comply. Should drug manufacturers fail to offer consumers the most favored nation price, the administration will take aggressive action. So it sounds like there's 30 days. This happened on Monday, the 12th. So maybe by mid-June, we'll get some results. I think like most things he does, it's about bringing a spotlight to something. He does that better than anybody. And maybe it's just rage bait. He just wants people to be raging about something else.
No, I mean, I think this is something that isn't even being pushed so much by Trump and more by RFK. This is his project. It's what he, ran on. He's always been against the healthcare industry, or he's always had a bone to pick with multiple aspects of the healthcare industry. This is one of them. And so I think this is the first for him, like the first step in like a larger plan to reform the healthcare infrastructure in the United States.
It does feel like he's gotten a lot of his way so far, which is
RFK?
great. In my opinion, is great. Yeah, it feels like Trump's really trusting him and just taking his guidance on these things.
That's what I'm seeing too. I mean, like, and I'm really surprised because I remember when RFK was at the first rally that he went and endorsed Trump, he was kind of standing off to the side, not sure what he was doing. He's like, do I really want to be up here? Like I was running as a Democrat. What the hell am I doing up here? But thankfully it looks like Trump's keeping his promises and letting RFK run with the reforms that he was promising, that they both ran on at that point. Right. Because ultimately this is something that helped Trump win. People wanted this. People wanted a healthcare reform. They're tired of being indebted, every time they have a medical emergency, going bankrupt, right? It's from what I hear, it's messed up. And I know of a lot. Well, I don't know personally, but I've heard of a lot of Americans crossing the border if they live close enough to Canada, Vermont, Seattle, whatever. They just cross the border into Canada, buy their insulin, at pennies to the dollar, literally, and go back home. And that's something that just doesn't make sense,
Yep. It it's crazy because you think where does the money go? Is it just filtering through these lobbying groups and sales reps and
the BMPs? Is that what they're called?
Huh?
The BMPs or BPMs or
PBMs?
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Wait, you guys are making it too complicated. They're going to the strippers. I don't
Yeah, at the end of the day, where do they all end up, right?
You guys are making it too complicated.
So you're saying it's like trickle down economics, Chief? We should keep it
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get into
you guys want to move on to the
yes.
To the next topic?
First, I want to talk about something to save people some money, dude. I hope there's a little player down there. Oh, you're gonna play the ad. Hold on. I was just gonna talk about it. I'll just talk over it. So god dang, man, I got frogs like crazy today. So we talked to Stack Mobile. We've talked about this for a while. We haven't quite gotten this set up. We finally got things going. If you are if you use a cell phone, hypothetically speaking, you might be one of these people out there that has a phone in their pocket all the time and use as a data plan. Is that you, Animal? Do you use a phone?
Yeah, most of the time, at least one. Yeah.
You do own a phone, right? And does everybody own a phone? Yeah.
Yes.
So Stack Mobile, this guy, John Shave, we met him at the Litecoin Summit. Really good dude, super hyped up about crypto and this new product he's got. It's basically, it's your regular phone service. So they have the top 5G network. You get a data plan from them and you get paid back in crypto. And so their pricing, I've been comparing it to mine. I'm going to get my daughter and I switched over to it. But the pricing's right in line with what you would pay for a regular phone and data plan. But you get, if you have a single plan, you'll get 10% back. But if you have a family plan or you've got a business or something and you got multiple lines, you get paid back 15% on all of your crypto or all of your cell phone usage paid back to you in crypto. So you just open up, you just have a wallet that connects and they'll send you money every time you sign up. So the best part about this, now let's see this ad, it says 35% if you activate your account. But if you use our promo code BLOCK, capital BLOCK, you get $50 right out of the gate just for signing up. So again, if you're somebody who uses a phone and you're looking to save some money, I know I'm personally lucky. I don't have, my bill's not too high. I probably pay like $150 to $170 a month, somewhere in there for 3 phones. But my other daughter is going to be wanting to get a phone soon as well. And, the good thing is too, you keep your device, they don't do the, hey, we'll give you a phone up front and then you pay out. They do, You keep your device, you keep your phone number. Like nothing will change in your day-to-day experience. So go check out Stack Mobile. Use that promo code, and we'll be good to go. Now, shill space over. What were we? Blah, blah, blah. You want to talk about a game show?
I do. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh,
let's play this clip for a bit.
Default this. Hey, go ahead.
Okay.
As Trump's immigration crackdown intensifies, the Department of Homeland Security is reportedly reviewing a pitch for a reality TV show where immigrants would compete for citizenship. The proposed show, called The American, would feature 12 contestants vying to fast-track U.S. citizenship, as per reports. Immigrants would reportedly travel across the U.S., facing themed challenges in different states to prove their American spirit. Those contestants would arrive at Ellis Island in New York City aboard the Citizenship, a boat symbolizing a new beginning, and would be greeted by a celebrity host in a baseball glove. DA is reportedly collaborating with writer and producer Rob Warsoff to develop the show called The American, in which immigrants take part in a series of challenges across the country for a shot at U.S. citizenship, though the project still needs funding and a distribution platform, as per reports. Challenges could reportedly range
reportedly per reports.
Wait, I want to know the challenges. What are the challenges?
Florida. The immigrants would be divided to rocket building and could reportedly range from log balancing in Wisconsin to rocket building in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The immigrants would be divided into teams who'd face
rocket building, guys.
This is I'm telling you, this is such bullshit.
It is.
You got to smell bullshit from a mile away. There's no way this is ever coming to fruition.
I mean, look, how do we do the two again?
To drive this narrative of like this inhumane mockery.
And
Chief, you want to be up there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Chief, and who chooses the immigrants? What immigrants? Cuban immigrants, Mexican immigrants, Canadian immigrants. What immigrants?
Do they have a lottery?
Is it going to be a 42-year-old woman coming across to try to get a better life? What is it?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking they'll probably just choose people in those detention centers, right? And like have a lottery.
This is meant to sound like Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're trying to put out there, that there's going to be some like elite council and we're watching these people dance and suffer for our entertainment.
Correct. Yes.
And it's just like, that's so dystopian bullshit.
It's like, like what happens when someone gets eliminated? They play like The Price is Right, like don't, and they go back.
No, the floor opens up and they drop down into a hole and we don't know where they go. It's like a slide that shoots them right back out to Mexico.
They can't know who he is. They deport him to Cuba and he's Mexican because they don't know. They look the same.
They did do that though with the El Salvador guy. I mean, I still can't believe that they put that guy in El Salvador of all places. But if you want to get real,
back yet?
You know, it's off the. That's the thing. It's off the headlines. We don't know.
Jesus.
I'm already.
Yeah, it definitely has Hunger Games vibes, like Squid Games vibes. I don't think anybody wants that. At the same time, I think if it does happen, it'll be insanely popular. I think it'll be a cash cow for these guys.
Well, you just said nobody wants it, and then here you are saying that everybody wants it. Which is it, Anna?
Yeah, the same way nobody wants to see a train crash, right? But like,
we don't. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
you know, it's like
nobody wants a train crash to happen, but everybody's gonna see it.
But if there's a train crash happening, you bet your ass will be watching it.
You're gonna have your Osmo pointed at.
Yeah.
Well, okay. This is. I want to use this as an opportunity of like how to read the news. Like, first of all, if you read that, I'm gonna find the art on one of the articles here, just to be aware of how the language works. You know, they'll say, reportedly, there has been a submission. Yeah, I think that we'll pull up the screen you had, Animal, where it said, he said, hang on,
basically take everything with a grain of salt.
I don't know. Pull yours up.
One sec.
Well, just the way they write, you have to be aware when you see it, like, okay, there's some bullshit about to come in. And so
This
like
one
the
here?
Department of Homeland Security is considering a barbaric pitch for a television game show where immigrants, I'm reading something else. Okay. Well, you got the video.
The journey. I'm putting a face to, I'm pitching the journey. I'm putting a face to immigration. This is a great celebration
But even if you
of
just
America. I'm an immigrant. I went through the process. It took me years. 20 years ago, I was like, I heard about premium processing, which is a way to fast track things if you had enough money. And I was like, why isn't that something we could lean into? I actually pitched this under both Obama and Biden, and both administrations were receptive to that as well. But, Alejandro Mayorkas got impeached right before I was able to move it up the chain under President Biden. And here we are. I don't know. It's exciting.
It's exciting, guys.
So what happens if, what are the stakes? How does this work? If you lose, what happens? And if you win, what happens?
Nobody moves backwards in this process. Everybody on our show is going to be a future American. They are all great candidates to be future Americans. They're all at some place in the process, and somewhere in line, just like I was. Sometimes you have to wait like 2 years to get somebody to just look at your file. I'm offering the chance to skip to the front of the line. But if you quote unquote lose, and I don't think it's losing, by the way, you're just going back to your regular spot in line. So there's no real cost there. But what you're gaining, of course, is all sorts of exposure, potential jobs, opportunities, and America will fall in love with you because we're gonna humanize everybody.
That's humanizing.
What would the challenges look like? What do you think?
Yeah, so it looks like they're not going to be going after people in ICE detention centers, but rather people that have applied for citizenship already. So it could be people that are living in the U.S. under some kind of visa, a temporary visa maybe, or maybe people that aren't living in the U.S. that are applying from outside the country. Who knows?
Yeah, forgive me if I'm not coming through, guys. I'm experiencing some lag on my end for some reason.
Yeah, no sweat. One thing I just want to bring some attention to real quick. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm looking for... I'm not going to see it here. There was a screen where this guy was talking, and he had a Montreal Canadiens pillow in the back. So he's a Habs fan. I know you guys are into sports. The Canadiens are the greatest team in the NHL. So I thought that was kind of cool.
They won yesterday, right? But I think I saw that.
Anyhow, yeah. Look, we live in interesting times. This is definitely in play now. It's made its way into the American psyche. People are considering it. Some people are expecting it. And I just hope if and when it does happen, it's more humane than we're saying it will be, right? Because yeah, it definitely does have dystopian.
Then it's gonna be boring. Vibes. Then it's not gonna get caught on. It's not gonna catch on. It's gonna be boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you can hear me, I mean, I guess I'll try to talk to this, but yeah, just use it as a lesson. And like, if it sounds ridiculous, it probably is ridiculous. And it's being made out to be more than it was. I mean, he even said this apparently has already been attempted twice and not gotten anywhere, even though it was received fairly well by other administrations. It's like, it's a way to bring attention probably to whatever his idea is. And also, yeah, just to paint this picture of, look, you can disagree. Like, I think there's reasons to disagree with how they're going about the way they're gathering people up and shipping them out. But also, like, I don't think you need to over exaggerate to make it Like sometimes the news is just bad enough, and for some reason they just want to. It feels like there's going to be an exaggeration all the time.
Yeah, but who knows if this is making progress, right? The fact that it's on CNN, that it made the news so broadly, maybe it's going to get sped run. With all this ICE stuff happening, like it's a topic that's top of mind. It's
I'd be willing to bet this were a poly market bet. I would bet that's not going to happen.
All right, that's fair. I'm 60-40.
I'm a hater. I'm a
60-40.
hater.
You're 60-40. Oh wow.
You think it's going to happen? You think there's a better chance of it?
There's more chances of it happening than not at this point. Yeah.
Wow, 60-40.
Maybe you're right.
Crazy.
Given the environment, man, given the sentiment, I think it's primed for this kind of a show.
You're nuts.
And how many
Sadly.
years? I'll give you 5-1, but tell me how many years.
How long does it take to make a show like this?
Open one
Would
website.
it be during this presidency?
Definitely.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah, it would have to be during his presidency, right?
Yeah.
So what? Okay, does it have to be a competition? Does it have to be a TV show competition that we're talking about? Like The Apprentice? Is that what they're?
Yeah, it'll be like The Bachelor, but America's a Bachelor.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to do another. Can you pull up the cake wallet thing? I'm just having all sorts of issues here, guys. I don't know what. I pulled up one website to look at this article, and since then my whole computer has just been locked up. I'm surprised you're even seeing me because you guys are bouncing around. But I guess while we're sitting here, let's talk. While we're waiting, bring up Cake Wallet. You got that Cake Wallet graphic, Chief?
Yeah, it's on there now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can't see it because you're lagging, but it's there.
Yeah, there's some. So there's some good.
We have to add it to the stage. There. Okay.
Yeah. So, speaking of Cake Wallet, and we're going to. You're going to be the Litecoin Summit, right, Animal?
Yes,
if you
sir.
Want to meet Animal, if you want to admire his very robust Italian mustache, you get to meet him. He'll be helping out, right? You're volunteering and checking people in, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I also want a ticket to the Bitcoin conference, so I might be there too for a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but that's what I did last year. Was at the entrance, scanning tickets. Yeah.
Are we gonna shoot the shit later?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
All right, I'm just closing Google. I'm getting crushed here, guys. We're gonna have awkward.
But so yeah, Cake Wallet, guys. While Grant is recovering from his
ridiculous
computer being over encumbered,
computer's just like fucked.
Cake Wallet's a great wallet. They were the first mobile wallet to implement MWeb. They're improving and adding stuff every day. It seems like these guys don't stop. Seth for Privacy is going to be at the summit presenting something at the Litecoin Summit. Maybe a new feature. I heard that they're announcing some special thing. I'm not sure what. Yeah, check out Cake Wallet if you haven't already.
If you need gift cards, Cake Wallet is your person too. You can get your hotel gift card there and get your hotel for the Litecoin Summit.
Yeah, weren't you saying, Chief, that you were using them to like buy stuff with it at some point, like at a fast food place? You buy a gift card. You buy a gift card when you roll up to the store for the exact amount that the receipt is, and then.
So before the store, I do it 5 minutes before. I do it 5 minutes before I walk out, so I can already have it ready. So by the time I get to the store, it's there, ready. No complaints or nothing.
And it's quick, right? It's pretty instantaneous. You just make a request for a gift card of the denomination of your choice, and then press the send button, and boom, like.
By the time you get to the store, it'll be there. Yep.
Yeah. So check out Cake Wallet, guys.
Well, and there, like you said, there's something new coming up that Seth for Privacy is. What the frick, dude? It's still struggling. What are you thinking about? Can you hear me?
If you guys want to donate
Yeah,
some,
we can hear you.
How are
money
you hearing
to
me?
grant
My
to,
whole
to get
Google
better
just
internet.
crashed. My whole Google,
You know, the same
my
thing happened to
website,
me in the pre-show.
literally my all Google crashed on me. I don't have any browsers open, and yet somehow I'm talking to you guys. This doesn't make any sense.
Really, Google, Google
Can
doesn't
you
want to
see
hear
me
us
right
anymore.
now? Can you see me?
You're frozen,
Yeah, we see a
bro.
frozen image.
I
Yeah.
love this. I love this live
This is
crashing shit. To me,
ridiculous,
it's
dude.
crazy. To me,
I don't
it's
know
fun.
what has happened.
Why don't you restart your computer and
I think I'm gonna have to.
Chief and I will talk about Air Force One or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
do
and
that.
anyway, yeah, we can do that right now actually because I have like 10 more minutes. I just realized that part of the deal includes something to do with the clubhouse of some golf resort. I'm sorry, a 5.5 billion golf resort. Can you believe that shit?
What is that?
So the deal is, we get $400 million plane that needs to be upgraded with at least $1 billion and won't be ready until maybe 5 to 7 years to be used as a Air Force One.
Okay, so let me get this straight. They're getting this $400 million plane.
Correct.
They need to disassemble it, dissect it, check it for
It's
bugs.
13 years old, by the way. It's 13 years old.
And it's basically like a flying palace, right? Like this is
what
like
they're calling it. Yes.
a flying sex palace used by these elites to do whatever the heck it is, stay in the air and just party, whatever. So it's one of these things. They need to retrofit a whole bunch of like Secret Service gear. Need to sweep it for bugs. Make sure the engines and everything are sound. Make sure it won't explode in midair.
Estimated $1 billion to retrofit.
To do all that work.
Correct.
Okay. And then at the end of this, so you're saying it's going to take 7 years. So, because I heard that at the end of this whole thing, they're going to be putting that jet in Trump's private library. In the Trump library.
At the end of his presidency, it's going to be on Trump's private library. But then
you're saying it's going to take 7 years to do all this work on it?
Around 7 years.
So that's assuming that he's not going to be able to even fly the thing.
Correct.
As president.
Correct.
And no other president will either because it's his.
No, but I think it's supposed to be put in rotation as an Air Force One. Yeah.
Okay, because I read somewhere else, and this could be a bad source, that they were going to.
I have Grok, by the way. I know you guys use Gemini. I'm using Grok.
Using Grok?
Yeah, Grok.
Let me see if I can find it. The new Air Force One thing.
And we're supposed to get the plane 2027, 2028.
Yeah.
And then it also includes a golf resort deal, a 5.5 billion golf resort deal.
That's wild. And so, what is it? People are saying this is a bribe. It's unethical. What's her name? Pat Bondi is assuring everyone that no. This is just a nice gesture, a friendly gesture. It's like when you go to someone's house, you bring over a bottle of wine. It's traditional.
Quote unquote, is a government to government transaction. It has nothing to do with personal relationships. Zero to do with personal relationships. Sure, buddy. Sure.
It's just a nice gesture from one friend to another. Yeah. Hey, what's a $500 million jet between friends? Anyways. Yeah, listen, I mean, I guess that means our relationship with Qatar is on good terms now.
Are we getting cheaper gas at least?
Are we getting cheaper gas? What does this mean, geopolitically? Are terrorist attacks going to go down? I don't know if they're related. Some people are saying that they are. Who knows? How does Israel feel about this? Are they jealous? Are they like, do they have an opinion on all this shit?
Who?
I don't know.
I don't think we should have that plane and maybe keep it and sell it or something, but we shouldn't have that plane with our politicians on it. Yes, we can try to retrofit it to whatever we want, but those motherfuckers are smart too. They know what they're doing. They know where to bug, what not to bug. They probably You know what's the N word that Trump's using right now? What's nuclear?
They can. Well, that's the thing. What if they just take a piece that's kind of easy to look over, and do some kind of metal fatigue on it, like have it wear prematurely, and then while they're up in the air over the course of the next 2 or 3 years,
boop.
Yeah, it explodes. It'll be hard to catch. So it's like, it's definitely a risky proposition for them to fly in it. I don't know, man.
What would you say if your president took that?
We have a prime minister.
I'm sorry, your prime minister. You're right.
It's okay. I forgive you. What would I say? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would ever happen, but I don't know if he would take it. I don't think he would.
It's
frankly
$400 million.
speaking. He'd probably I don't know, maybe he would take it, but he wouldn't make it like Canada Force One, you know what I mean? Although our military is kind of suffering in terms of its budget. So who knows? Maybe they need the money more. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, me neither, man. I think it's
Definitely,
a bad idea.
Definitely an interesting gift. And definitely a risky proposition. I find it funny that it's going to take them 7 years, as you're saying, to retrofit it.
Around 7 years, the same.
So it's not even going to happen.
During his time as being president, no, correct.
I mean, it's good news for Boeing.
He says that the reason it's a good deal is because it's transparent.
What do you mean? Transparent because it's been making the rounds.
I guess, right? Yeah, that's
in the news. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good news for Boeing because I guess they'll be doing all the work on it.
Yeah, we're going to lose money on it.
Yeah.
Our taxes are going to be the ones that are going to fix. I mean, not your taxes. You're Canadian, but our taxes. I'm illegal, so I don't pay tax. I'm just playing, guys. I'm just playing. I'm legal. So our taxes is gonna pay for that renovation or whatever. So I don't agree with it, but I mean, like I said, I don't have a say.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely a headline. definitely something that'll upset a lot of people, and looks a lot like bribery. So the question is then, like, what are they getting in return? What is Trump going to give, the Qataris in return?
The nuclear codes, bro. That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. Nuclear codes?
Yeah, nuclear codes, bro. They want more power. That's what they want.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. I found it very generous that they rolled up a mobile McDonald's for Trump. I thought that was really, yeah. When you're trying to court someone, you bring them McDonald's. Bring them to McDonald's. You ever go on a date with a chick and bring it to McDonald's? It's pretty classy. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have. I mean,
okay.
not maybe not as a first date, but like the third or fourth, But yeah, I have. Sometimes you're right. That's how you court someone. They did well. Bad deal for us. Good deal for them.
Indeed. Where the heck is Grant going? We got his story left now. We were going to talk about the Coinbase hack or
I know.
ransom.
I saw that it was 20 minutes. Is that you or me? Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. There was a commercial on the background. $20 million hack or something, right? Or ransom?
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead. What's going on with that?
1 sec. So yeah, these guys, it looks like they infiltrated Coinbase. They were able to, I don't know, bribe or get someone on the inside to leak customers' personal information. Things like their full name, their phone number, their home addresses, pictures of their government ID. Apparently, their credit card numbers were hashed out, and their social insurance numbers are only like they've only got access to like 3 of them. So yeah, pretty bad, man. It's definitely an argument against KYC regulations, right? Like,
and the hackers were from India.
Oh, were they?
It says criminals paid overseas contractors and employees in support roles, primarily in India, to access customer support systems.
So they outsourced customer support to India?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying? And then these agents,
the cyber criminal, yeah, correct.
Wow. Okay, so there's a couple of issues here. Then, that's messed up, man.
So on May 11, 2025, an unknown threat actor demanded a 20 million ransom in Bitcoin to not leak the data. Coinbase refused to pay.
Which is a smart move, because realistically, they would just came back and asked for 40 million in a week, right? You know how those things work?
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, he went on Tinder or something like that. And he met some chick, and this is almost 20 years ago. Okay. So it wasn't Tinder, it was something else. Maybe it was 10 years ago. Don't quote me on that. It was a while ago. And he meets this girl, and they're talking and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, I really think you're cute and stuff. Do you have Skype? I'd like to chat with you in video and stuff, So my buddy's like, "Yeah, hell's yeah. Here you go, 100%. Skype." And so they start Skyping, they're doing the whole internet dating thing online. It's very fresh, very, very fun. And this chick's like, "Yeah, so you want me to take my shirt off?" And he's like, yeah, take it off.
Right away.
He's like,
that's a red flag.
And she's like, "Well, I'll only do it if you take your pants off." And so he's like, "Okay." And so he does. And so they're doing this thing online together, consensually, as adults, more or less at this point.
But he's being recorded.
And he's being recorded.
Of course.
And she's like, "Okay, well, thanks." And like, whatever. Like, it was like a 2-minute interaction at that point. And she's like, "Okay, cool. Well, have a nice day, sir. Bye-bye." And he's like, "That was weird." And meantime, like, she added him on Facebook, on all this other stuff. And I don't know, maybe 20 minutes later, he gets an email from her with a YouTube link saying that so-and-so, a link to a YouTube video where the title was like, "So-and-so is a pervert pedophile. He's doing this while looking at CP." And she's like, "Yeah, if you don't give me $1,000, I'm going to send this video to all your contacts." Right? What the fuck? So,
that's 10 years ago. Imagine his heart dropping.
No, I can't. Yeah, it's insane.
Crazy.
But yeah, anyways, poor guy, dude. Like, that's a real nightmare. So like, hearing the story, I did some research on my own. And this is a scam that's been going on for a while. And typically what happens is people are scared into paying. And then, like I said, a week later, they'll come back and ask for double. You know what I mean? Be like, "If you don't give us $2,000 now, we're going to send this out to all your friends and family." So yeah, best thing to do, honestly, is not to give in.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't do. I know you want crypto to be official and like all government, but keep your keys out of Coinbase. I mean, keep your crypto out of Coinbase. Keep everything. Give no information, and you avoid all of this, right? You avoid your data being hacked.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if there are ways to buy crypto without. Oh, look who's back!
I'm back from the dead, dude.
The boss is back.
Yeah, it'd be great to be able to have. We're just talking about the Coinbase thing. It'd be great to have ways to acquire crypto without having to KYC. For sure.
I think you can. Can't you buy on Cake Wallet with a credit card? I mean, obviously you got your credit card tied to it, but
can you buy like $10,000 worth?
Well, why?
I mean, but who has 10 grand? This is for the people, dog. I don't think the people got 10 grand.
Well, this is the thing, though. So these services, Coinbase, these sexes, they do have liquidity, and they do expect people to buy large amounts of crypto. After $10,000, you need to KYC. That's just the law. I don't think Cakewallet can get you around
that.
That's
a lot, you know. I mean,
it is for sure.
If I want to do,
but if there's a dip, if you're a boomer and you just sold your house, and Bitcoin tanks like 20%, you're going to want to put that equity onto Coinbase ASAP.
So you can use it. You can buy it with credit card, debit card, Google Pay, Apple Pay, ACH, bank transfer, Skrill, whatever that is, or Net Teller.
Okay, but so all these things, they have they'll flag the transaction once it reaches a certain amount. And like if you're using, Visa or your bank, like for bank transfer, your bank's going to call you and ask you what the money's for, where it's going. Right.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Okay.
They give you options
either way, right? We're screwed either way. We're trying to get some crypto. You're going to have to somehow KYC.
I mean, now we're at the point where like so many people have been doxxed, right? Like I've been in crypto for a while. I've been the subject of, I don't know, at least half a dozen breaches, right? Like, what do you do? What do you like? Someone like me, what do I do? Like my phone number, the reason why I have two phones is because my primary phone number, the only people that call me are scammers. And I get 2 or 3 a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's ridiculous. So what's the solution to that?
Well, I think the problem with this is that I don't quite understand why every employee of Coinbase needs to have access to that information. That's the big problem to me, is if there is this low-level customer service guy, how is he able to access this many files? Like, shouldn't he just be able to use them on an as-needed basis or something, or is he out?
I think the way it works is like, say someone wants to make a withdrawal, they want to withdraw their Bitcoin to another address, and it's a large amount. They're going to be like, wait, you need to justify it, right? You need to justify this transaction. And if you can do it through the mobile app and be like, okay, this is who I'm sending it to, this is their address, it's a business, I'm doing this with it, because they fucking ask you.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry for swearing. But if you mess that up, or say it doesn't pass a sniff test of their algorithm, then you have to call them. And then these agents are going to look and verify. It's like, okay, this is your phone number. What's your address, your date of birth, blah, blah. What are the last 4 digits of your credit card number? You know what I mean? They'll ask you these things. They'll probably ask you for a picture. This is the other thing. They ask you for a picture with the date on it, on a piece of paper, right? A piece of paper with the date on it and your signature. And they'll check to see that your picture matches your ID, and that the date matches date, and your signature matches signatures on your ID.
I think there's a difference there between accessing the information when it's requested or when it's needed versus blanket access to all the records. Like there should maybe be some sort of check and balance. Like, hey, this guy requested more than, I don't know, 20 in a day. That should be suspicious to them.
Some kind of zero knowledge proof
going on. They know this has been going on. Coinbase knows these hacks or these scams have been going on, and yet they just let some random dude have all this information. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they're gonna have to revisit their that system, because look, Coinbase was the first exchange I ever signed up for. I think it was the first exchange for many people.
Could you do zero knowledge proofs of fingerprints? Like, you should be able to do that, right? Where like your fingerprint would trigger certain data points that would to confirm your identity, but without actually revealing your fingerprint identity.
Yeah, potentially. They would have to have an app, a side app or something. This app that could sign ZK proofs when asked for, like using either your iPhone's infrared camera, the Face ID thing, or your Android's fingerprint sensor or something. It'd have to be something trustworthy. And then that'll have to because they would still need this data. It would just be encrypted for everyone at Coinbase on Coinbase's servers.
Right.
And the only way to unlock it would be with the side app, right?
Yeah, and I think to be clear too on the Coinbase thing, so many people are think that it's Coinbase. When people are getting hacked on Coinbase or they're losing their money on Coinbase, it's actually the social engineering. It's not that somebody got into your account and took over your device and sent the money. It's that they just convinced you that you needed to send it. So they tell you, we're upgrading our systems and we need to move your assets to a new wallet. We're going to send you an address, make sure we're going to give you the seed phrases, make sure you don't tell anybody about them. And you think it's Coinbase. And so you set up a wallet and you send it to this other wallet without testing it. It's your stupid ass fault for sending them the money, right? Well, that's not Coinbase messing up. It's an exploit and Coinbase should be aware of it. But these are people that are just being duped. That's the vast majority of this.
And you're totally right. But now with this data I don't know if it's actually been leaked. I think it has. But
from my understanding, yeah.
If it hasn't, it will be soon. It's on the darknet somewhere. Yeah, I got an email actually from I have a darknet monitor saying that my shit was new data was exposed. So it's probably that this week. But so hackers now can grab access to your government ID. They have access to your phone number, your address. They could spoof your phone number. They can call other exchanges. They can call it Binance or whatever. Be like, yeah, I want to make this transaction. I forgot my password. Can you reset my password?
Right.
So they have all the information they need now to get your password reset on Binance or Kraken or whatever.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people saying, "Oh, this was only like 1% of people or something." But again, it makes me go, "Well, why do we believe that? And what would have prevented if they had access to 1% of people? Why didn't they have access to 100? That doesn't make. It's not like data takes some insane amount of time to upload text files. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a massive file that would take days. It would take seconds.
Who knows how their process works? Maybe one department only had access to a certain amount. I have no idea.
So just be on high alert. I guess that'd be the thing. Be on alert that this is potentially coming, because I've been getting them for years. I get emails all the time from Coinbase. I just ignore them. I don't have any money on Coinbase. I haven't for a while anyway. So, I guess just more reason to think about using tools to take custody of your money. Obviously we talk about Cake Wallet. I use a Trezor. I know a lot of people use ledgers, and I haven't looked into a lot of stuff like Cold Card. I want to learn more about those. I have a friend who's he gets paranoid in both directions. And he's like, I think I told you guys this. He's like, I think I just want to go to a paper wallet. That way I don't have to mess around with a computer or anything. I have it. And I'm like, man, I just think that's not a good idea. And what he's misunderstanding is that people think this device, this whatever you've got, your Trezor, or maybe it's your phone, that the device isn't holding the Bitcoin. It's not holding the coins. It's just storing your private key, which gives you the ability to sign a transaction and send money somewhere. And then it breaks that private key into those seed words, or at least give you a seed word phrase that you can use in case that device is ever destroyed. But essentially, it's like a paper wallet. It's like a digital way of storing a paper wallet is the best way to look at it.
If someone finds your seed phrase, it's just as bad as if someone were to find your paper wallet, right?
Exactly.
With the seed phrase, you can restore it. You don't need to know the PIN that you put on the device when you created it. So similar. I mean, so there's a lot of with the paper wallets recently. There have been some hacks, I guess, where they put up fake websites that generated signature keys that weren't random, and that the person who then was able to sweep all those wallets that website had created. So that's one major consideration.
Why would
one
anyone
major
want
point
to join
against
crypto anymore, bro?
What?
Why would anyone want to join crypto anymore?
It's a big problem. Yeah.
We've been talking for like 5 minutes and no positive thing.
Well, we're just
talk
through the potential dangers. I mean, I think you need to be aware, and people do get a little
crazy. I'm here trying to maybe convince someone to do crypto, and then all they're gonna see this 5-minute video, and they're gonna be like, never mind.
So the way investment, like the way I would look at it is, if you're doing it as an investment and you don't really have any interest in trying to like that, if you're not concerned that the government will shut it down, or you're not concerned that they're going to go raid people's homes or something and try to acquire crypto, and you're just like, look, I'm just betting on the scarcity of it. These ETFs that you'll see with Litecoin soon, I think that's not a bad way to get exposure, because you don't have to get into the weeds of the possession. But if you like the idea of being able to use your money, or like if the dollar collapses, or I'm going to travel with it and I want to keep it with me, then you just need to be aware that there's some security concerns, right? And
I'm gonna go the old-fashioned way, like Duran, and just buy silver, bro.
Well, I would say if you're talking significant amounts of money, I do think the ETFs are maybe the safest way to do it, because if they screw up and lose the underlying asset, I think you would still get
paid.
You could still sell the shares technically.
Yeah, technically.
I mean, the price.
On that note, can I share something with you guys while we're talking about this?
Yeah, sure. And
All
then
right.
we're gonna
wrap it up.
Wrap it up after this. Yeah.
So about ETFs, I kind of agree. Like they're a safer alternative for boomers or people who are less technical.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that they maintain a proof of reserves and they're not like, just inflating the value of their ETF as more people come in without acquiring more or something, or selling it behind the scenes to buy the shares back or some like shady stuff like that. Assuming all that's above board, it is probably a safer alternative for people who don't want to mess with the technical nitty-gritty of managing your own keys, because admittedly it is challenging. And even as someone like me who's fairly comfortable with the process, say very comfortable with the process, there's a lot to consider when managing my self-custodied crypto. And there's always that little bit of doubt. I was like, should I do it better? Could I do it like this? There's multiple ways to skin a cat, and there are definitely better ways than others of doing it. So yeah, doing it this way makes it a lot easier for people who don't want to think about that stuff, who don't have the knowledge required to do it in a safe way. Okay, all that being said, the Canary Funds Litecoin ETF was not approved this month. The SEC is asking for comments from the community.
Same thing with Grayscale.
Same thing with Grayscale.
I think just last week.
Okay. So yeah, dude. I mean, there's a place here. The Litecoin Foundation made this or posted this article. You can click there or click here, and basically you want to send an email to these guys to rule-comments@sec.gov. This is a draft I've been writing on this week. If anyone cares enough to read through it, here it is. You can pause your screen. And yeah, because I'm not going to read out loud.
Are you going to post this?
I'm going to post it, and when I do, it'll appear. Sure, it'll appear here. So these are all the different comments from people. You got Paul Jenkin. You can submit as anonymous. I'll submit as Animal. Kyle over here. Kyle, our buddy from 84 Million, wrote this little tidbit. And there's a bunch of comments. So yeah, if you see a comment here that you like, you can actually just copy and paste it and send it to them. And it won't necessarily appear up here for you to see, but on their end, they'll have like a little number 2 or number 3. It'll be like upvoting a post on Reddit, right? Like,
okay.
They'll see it on their end. I'm not sure if they're required to read this stuff. I wrote a little fucking essay for them, focusing on the bringing attention to specific and crucial elements inherent to Litecoin's design, merge mining. I had my lawyer girlfriend help me write this, and Gemini, so it should be pretty good. I hope you read it.
And Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini did a lot of the heavy lifting.
Maybe Gemini's what crashed my computer, dude. I don't know what the fuck happened. That was weird.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was StreamYard, because when I was running StreamYard, I was, it crashed my computer too. I had to restart.
All right.
Yeah, you guys, please write the SEC. Again, if you want the email, it's rule-comments@sec.gov.
Yeah, and
you
I
have to
think
include
they asked for a
this file
specific,
number.
they'd asked specific questions about it. So, I think, to me, I've always felt like this seems like a natural evolution that's going to take place. And we're luckily in a good environment as far as his administration. So the timing should be right. So I think Litecoin will, I'm always pro Litecoin.
Well, and you know what? Here's the thing about Litecoin, right? There is also a request for a Dogecoin ETF.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, you can't have a Dogecoin ETF before you have a Litecoin ETF, right? Like
why is
Litecoin's, well, because all these Ox POW coins are merge mining with Litecoin. Like Dogecoin is merge mining with Litecoin. Bell's coin is merge mining with Litecoin. Litecoin in this proof of work relationship, this OxPow relationship, is the parent chain, and they're piggybacking. Each of them are piggybacking onto Litecoin. So Bell's coin can't merge mine with Dogecoin. So to have a Dogecoin
is that true?
ETF,
Do you know that's true?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can mine Dogecoin on your own, but you'll just be part of a small pool.
Right. Why wouldn't you take the Litecoin reward? Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it makes more sense. Like if we're going to have a Dogecoin ETF, if you think we're inevitably going to have a Dogecoin ETF, given the fact that we now have a department of Doge, the Doge department, going by, the logic that I just outlined, a Litecoin ETF should come first. It would make sense.
Yep. Yeah, so, I do think it's coming. I think by the end of the year, probably by the end of, I'm going to give it 6 more months max. And I think we'll have something, which will be exciting.
Yeah, dude. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I know I'm not sounding hyped up. I think I'm ready to get going. But yeah, we're trying to get interviews. I've got a guy who will talk about AI, hopefully. And Animal, maybe you got your stem cell guy. Eventually it'll come back. And then maybe some more controversial figures we're discussing as well, but nothing set in stone yet. That's what we're going for. More interviews. And I finally have our episode out. I think we've been working on it. I don't know if anybody's even listening right now, but to have a little better, cleaner format, it'll look better, and hopefully we'll get some more attention and cool interviews coming up in the future. So, and I'm going to get a new light and maybe even use my phone for my camera. That looks like I need to make that upgrade. All right. You good?
Yeah, man. Great show.
See you later.
Nice talking to you again.
I was trying to do hand signals because we had Chief last week making balloons and stuff, but
he's doing it. Hold on, huh? Where's he?
He's not on stage. That's why.
Oh yeah, do it again.
Try it again.
It's not working.
Why do you have to?
There you go. Confetti. Beautiful.
You think you're close enough?
I think it's a camera, bro. You need a better camera. That's all it is. I think that's what it is.
It can't be that blurry. What do you think? It doesn't see my face or something?
Oh, you know what it is?
He's got something going on his end.
It's probably the green screen.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. All right. Everybody take it easy. Have a good week. And we'll see you next Saturday.